millions of owners, but they are behind bars. Some people are blinded by the lights of wealth and success, and make them covet more, so they make foolish decisions to accumulate more wealth. And this is the reason for the presence of millions of owners in prison, who we will show the 10 richest of them in this topic. Millions of owners are behind bars. 1. Jordan Belfort, lost $100 million. Jordan was the most successful billionaire who made a huge fortune, as his profits reached $250 million when he was 25 years old thanks to the profits and shares of his company. But the love of money made Belfort lose a lot of money and move from a luxurious life to a miserable life in the dungeon for 2 years. And that on charges of illegally gaining money laundering and fraud, Belfot wrote his memoirs of his criminal past, and one of those notes was taken by the famous director Martin Scorsese. 2. Kim.com, lost $17 million. Kim was a businessman on the internet, and his fortune was huge, but his suspicious dealings drove him to prison, as his conviction dates back to 1994 AD when he was convicted of fraud and espionage. And in 2012 he was arrested on charges of piracy on the internet. 3. Rajaratnam, lost $92.8 million. This Sri Lankan billionaire earned his money through his work in managing the preventive portfolio, and the company he works for was suddenly closed. And then Raj was arrested for carrying out illegal acts in his work, and in 2011 he was sentenced to 11 years imprisonment and paid approximately $9 billion. 4. Alan Stanford, lost $2.2 billion. Yen was sentenced to 110 years in prison on charges of financial conspiracy to deceive investors by stealing $700 billion from them. 5. Wang Kong, 14 years in prison. Wang King held the position of president of Jimmy Electrical Appliances, one of the leading and most popular electrical appliance chains in China. And in 2008 he was arrested for manipulating the stock market. 6. Chi Taiwan, lost $300 million. Chi Tai was the head of the South Korean company SK Corporation, a chemical industry company, and he secured the funds needed to build the Grand Park Hotel. In 2012, he was charged with embezzlement from several SK companies with a value of 45%. It is worth noting that he was imprisoned on this charge for 4 years. 7. Michael Milken, 2 years in prison. Michael was famous for his charitable work around the world, but he spent 22 months behind bars on charges of extortion and fraud and was released in 1993. 8. Alfred Tubman, fined $7.5 million. Alfred owns the most popular Tubman centers in the United States, and was sentenced to 10 months in prison for fraud. 9. Mikhail Kotakovsky. Mikhail has a fortune of $15 billion. He was imprisoned in 2003 on charges of tax evasion. 10. Bernie Madoff. Bernie, a stock trader, tampered with the trading shares and was sentenced to imprisonment.